Hey, what's up guys? Philip here bringing you another review, and today we're going to be checking out the AUKEY GM F4 Night RGB mouse. Now this thing is pretty cool because it has this rapid fire button that makes you click simultaneously really quickly, and we'll cover that a little bit later in the video. So we're going to start this video out by checking out what was included in the box. So in the box you're going to get the mouse, of course, and a user's guide manual that will show you how to use some of the basic features with this mouse. So this is a black mouse, and this is pretty much the only color option you're gonna get. So if you have a different type of setup that's more white or yellow or whatever your theme is, this mouse only comes in black, so it may or may not be a good fit if that's something that's important to you. But if color is not important for your setup, then you definitely shouldn't have an issue, because this is a solid mouse for the price point. So my first impressions when actually using this mouse was that it was a little bit on the slippery side. Now this thing doesn't have any texturized grips or rubber pieces that are on the mouse. It's pretty much a smooth matte finish black color throughout the whole mouse. It is going to be a little more slippery, and I found that I couldn't use this thing with too much confidence. I felt like it was trying to slip out of my hands. I don't know, just one of my complaints with this mouse, but other than that, it is a solid mouse in every other aspect. Now there are 8 programmable buttons that are on the mouse, and you can customize them in the software, which we'll cover a little bit later, but these buttons are pretty much made of a plastic material, and they feel just like the rest of the mouse. The cable is made of a braided material, which is going to be nice because it's going to add more slipperiness to it, which means it won't get caught on things randomly like regular silicone cables. So definitely a plus there. And it's also a 6-foot cable in length, so it's going to give you a lot of room to connect it from your computer to where you're actually using the mouse on your mouse pad. Now there's 3 primary ways to actually use a mouse in terms of gripping styles. You have the palm grip, which is when you just lay your palm on it and your hand rests on it. You have the fingertip grip, which is when your fingers kind of lay on it but your palm doesn't, and you move it like that. And then you have the claw grip, where you put your knuckles, the back of your knuckles, on the top of the mouse, and then your fingers go on the mouse. Now personally, for me, I found that palm grip was the best because the mouse kind of has more of a flat layout on top. It's not like super curved, and with this flat design, it's going to be more optimized for palm grips. You can do fingertip grip where you put your fingers like this, but because it doesn't have too much grip, I found that it was a little bit hard to kind of hold this thing and move it accurately because of the lack of grips. The claw grip was possible with this mouse, but not very comfortable, mainly because for a claw grip to be comfortable, it requires a big hump on the top of the mouse. So this thing is definitely more optimized for palm grippers. Let's do a little shake test to hear if there's any rattling or wobbling with the mouse. So here we go. Pretty much no rattles or shakes, so definitely a well put together mouse, and you're not going to have any of those annoying rattly or wobbly things while you're actually using the mouse. So definitely a good job to AUKEY for building a product that's well put together. And then here's a little click test for y'all to hear what the clicking actually sounds like. That's right click, left click, front mouse button, right mouse button or back, and the rapid fire button that's between the 2 buttons. So they all pretty much sound the same. Overall, pretty nice clicking experience, no complaints here. Now the actual buttons, the way they click, I found that you have to kind of keep your fingers where you're clicking with the left and right click more on the center of the button. So you can actually push it and it registers the click when you go on the center. But if you move your finger more towards the back here, it's gonna be much harder to actually register that click because there's a lot of resistance that gets added in. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because if you have really small hands, or maybe a child that's going to be using this mouse, it may not be very comfortable for them because of their small fingers, and they're going to be pushing the button where it requires a lot of extra pressure. So keep that in mind if you are someone who has small hands or a child that's going to be using this mouse. This mouse is going to be compatible on pretty much all your computers and consoles, and what you're going to be able to do on them with the functionality is adjust the DPI settings, which can be adjusted with these 2 buttons here. You have a up button and a down button, and you can also adjust the light settings, which there's a button on the back of the mouse here. Is when you click it, it'll turn the RGB lights on, and then when you click it again, it'll turn them off. Now in terms of the actual customization with this mouse, if you want to customize the DPI settings further than what's actually built on the mouse, you're going to have to install the software, which requires a Windows computer. And the same with the lights. If you want to change the lights or the shortcuts or anything with how this mouse functions, you are going to need the software. But without the software, you still have some pretty good customization with the mouse speed, as well as the RGB settings, which is pretty much just on and off. Now, something very special about this mouse is the rapid fire button, or the fire button. And what that does is when you actually push this button that is on the side of the mouse, it's gonna click 3 times consecutively. So with a regular click, it's just gonna be like click, and it clicks once. But when you push the center button, it's gonna click 3 times, like 1, 2, 3. And that's gonna be pretty cool if you're playing a game or something where you kind of have to spam click things. And instead of spam clicking like 1 at a time, you can be spam clicking 3 clicks at a time. So that's really gonna increase your clicks per second. So if you are looking for a budget mouse that you don't really wanna put too much money into, but you want something that's pretty acceptable, then I think this AUKEY GM F4 Night Edition is gonna be really a pretty good option. Not the best option, because my biggest complaint with this mouse is the lack of grips. There's like literally no like textures or like rubber grips anywhere, and I just found that it was kind of slipping out of my hands more. I do love the brand AUKEY. They do make other mice that are good, and I'm gonna leave a link down in the description below to the other mouse I reviewed from them. But this one here, I don't know, I just wish they added grips on it so that you can feel more confident and more accurate when moving this thing around, rather than moving and feeling like it's trying to escape from your hand. It just doesn't feel like it wants to stay in your hand because of the lack of grips. But with that being said, if you do want to just see more info on this mouse, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below pointing to Amazon, and you can see more info there. And if you want to stay in the loop on what's happening in the tech world, make sure you click that subscribe button, and I'll keep you in the loop. Don't forget to like this video and leave your comments down below. See you in the next one.